You guys seen St. Al's roof before? You're about to. Hey, we're on the roof now. Gonna film The Witness in a super epic, funny, quirky location. Haha. Hi. So, here we are, under the bell. Okay, so, just a little bit about myself. So, I was born in the Netherlands in 2001. I didn't stay there for very long. My parents moved when I was only 2 months old, so I'm technically Dutch, but like, you know, anyways, so we moved to the United States to Lower Michigan, and we stayed there for like 5 years or something, and then my dad decided to go for a degree in environmental engineering, so we moved to Upper Michigan, and my dad started going to Michigan Tech, and that's pretty much where my whole faith journey, or whatever you want to call it, began. So growing up, we would do rosaries every night as a family, and maybe throw a Divine Mercy chaplet in there sometime, and you know, we'd go to Mass on Sundays and Holy Days of Obligation and stuff like that. But I never really took it very seriously as sort of just like, okay, yeah, let's go to Sunday Mass and then I get donuts afterwards, or, you know, something along those lines, you know. It was something to get done and be over with, instead of, you know, actually enjoying it and living it like you're supposed to. So we ended up staying in the UP for 7 years, and in that time I made a ton of really good friends, and me and my brother found a whole bunch of spots to go do stuff, you know, and so I was living large, as they say. I was having, you know, there's hardly ever a boring day, you know, as there's always something to do. I was having the time of my life, and then I got kicked in the face by a hard dose of reality, and yeah, good things like that don't always last forever, and we had to move away after 7 years, and that really hurt, and basically as soon as we moved, I just turned entirely inward on myself. I essentially didn't even try to make any friends. In fact, I was actively avoiding making friends, because I feel like at that point I wasn't really realizing it, but I think what I was doing was essentially just trying to hold on to what I had before, instead of letting go and moving on and trying to make new friends and new memories and stuff like that, which in hindsight I should have done much differently, but at the time it was like, oh yeah, I don't want to accept this horrible thing that's happened to me. I'm just gonna pretend like it didn't happen, and yeah, that doesn't work. And I ended up getting really sad and depressed and just not enjoying anything. I just remember feeling like completely empty, and just like I'm, you know, like a good analogy would just be like floating down the river, you know. I wasn't trying to keep my head above water or avoid any rubble or anything like that, or even try and tread water. I was just floating along downstream, and I didn't care what happened to me. Yeah, I ended up hurting a lot of people that way, just because I didn't care about anything, and so I ended up damaging a lot of relationships that I really wish I wouldn't have, and I ended up making a super toxic environment for anybody that wanted to spend any time with me. So about a month or two in, one of my now best friends was trying to, you know, trying to encourage me to do some stuff and sort of get my act together, and I was entirely opposed to that idea, and I really tried extremely hard to convince myself that no, I don't like this kid. No, he's not for me. He's not my friend, and you know, stuff like that. Just being really stubborn. So yeah, after like probably like 6 months or something, I eventually started caving in and accepting the fact that, yeah, this guy really is my friend. You know, like I actually do enjoy spending time around him. You know, and at that point, it sort of like it was like a huge turning point for me, because instead of just sulking about what I had lost, I was finally able to look at what I had and enjoy it, which was huge. So before my friend sort of pulled me out of my slump, I was really going downhill in terms of faith. I had completely stopped saying the rosary. I wasn't praying at all in my free time. I was trying really hard to force my parents to not bring me along to Sunday Mass. But luckily enough for me, my parents still forced me to go. So I think that is sort of, in another way, kind of what saved my faith life, was just having that Sunday Mass. Even if I wasn't doing anything else at all, at least I was going to Sunday Mass. So after a little while of getting to know my friend, he invited me to go to CYE, which stands for Catholic Youth Expeditions. I was kind of opposed to the idea of going at first, because I was still very much so an introvert and didn't really want to have to deal with people. But in the end, I did end up going, and I think it was probably one of the best decisions I've made. It really showed me that there were people my age that were trying their hardest to live their faith to the fullest, and striving for holiness, which was something that I really wasn't doing at that time. And I noticed too that the people that were doing that and that were trying their best to become holy were unanimously the most happy people there. And that sort of struck a chord with me, because like I spent all this time being unhappy, and the only thing that's different between me and them is that they pray a lot more than I did, and they try to live their faith as best as they can. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. So it made sense to me that like, since the only difference is their prayer life is a lot better than mine, then if I improve my prayer life, then I'll be more happy. And that is pretty much exactly what happened. So when I got back from that retreat, I tried really, really hard to do exactly what they were doing. I tried praying morning prayer, and I was praying consistent rosaries, and I was going to holy hours whenever I could, and that was probably the best thing I could have done. I've pretty much never looked back from then on, because it's been so much better and so much nicer than what I was doing before. I continued going on those expeditions as much as I could. They had one every month, and I made almost every single one of them. So yeah, I guess the moral of the story here is, well, I guess there's a few, but one, don't take things for granted. Like in that area where I was, having the time of my life, spending a lot of time outside with my brother, just, having a grand old time. I never really took it in, and I just sort of took it at face value instead of like really appreciating it for what it was worth. Number two would be things change. If you're in a bad situation, like you just realize like it's not going to stay that way forever. It will get better. I guess number three would be don't take your friends for granted. Like, they probably help a lot more than you think. It definitely helps me a lot, like even in my extreme introvertedness, just to like hang out with people once in a while, and of course, I still do need alone time and stuff to sort through my thoughts and everything, and alone time can be extremely healthy. But when every single day of your life is nothing but alone time, you start to get really sad really quickly. And I guess number 4, pray more. That's basically it. That will increase your quality of life tenfold. I guarantee it. So I guess that's it then. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a little bit. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be praying for you, and I hope you do the same for me. Bye-bye. Hope you're doing good, and have a good day. Bye.